I would like to cover the, quote, feature-length documentary, unquote, that is included on the Blu-ray and 4K versions of this. Right off the bat, I'm like, oh, I've been duped, because this is not a feature-length documentary. Because I was stupid back when this came out on Blu-ray, because people were talking about the behind-the-scenes thing like it meant anything. I was like, oh, maybe there's going to be some sort of insight as to the struggles behind the scenes, which is so naive. Lionsgate's not going to put that out. Instead, it's just the same kind of electronic press kit stuff that you get on these movies, but they just didn't want to put the effort into cutting it into like 10 different things. So instead, it's 3 chapters making up an hour and 10 minutes instead of, taking the time to cut it.
Oh. So it's just what would have been included in the bonus features anyway?
Uh-huh. And so it just seems like they skewed it as some sort of like feature-length thing to make you not buy the DVD version of this. That's how I read that.
Huh. Yeah, because when you mentioned it, I like, it sounds like a sort of, I don't know, third-party view, like a behind the scenes of what happened, you know what I mean?
No, it's a fluff package from Lionsgate, much like you'd find on any movie ever.
Wow.
It's really embarrassing how skewed this is. This whole thing just reeks of arrogance, and just so many people that are interviewed are so just the air about them and the way that they talk about things is so pretentious. Everyone's like, we're not making the Del Toro movies, we're doing Mike Mignola's artistic vision, like they fucking care at all. And it's just so gross. They're acting like they're so cool, and they're like, what we're doing is better because it's different.
It's a darker Hellboy. It's a Hellboy with more internal struggle and with more sort of torture. And then it's also a more horror gothic Hellboy than the other ones.
I think the world of Hellboy is really kind of dark and gothic.
This one's a lot darker. I think it's closer to the comic books.
The first segment is interviewing the actors. While there's nothing super revealing about that section, it's very clear that some people are uncomfortable talking about this project in retrospect. I just have some notes here. Something that you don't usually see with these things, but whenever someone's talking about a different movie that they worked on, they don't mention it by name and tiptoe around it. Because David Harbour's like, I was working on a TV show.
I had been playing this role on a television show where he was kind of wildly out of shape.
It's like, I wonder what the fuck that is. I wonder what TV show David K. Harbour was on. Would it really have hurt you, Lionsgate, to mention that a Netflix show exists?
Yes.
All the actors, like, none of them come off terribly. I think a lot of what happened to David Harbour after this movie is just trying to form some sort of ideology in his head that like makes him feel okay about this movie being so poorly received.
One of the things that I find really strange about reboots is that people tend to have to gravitate toward one or another. And I know that coming from a theater background, I've seen the play Hamlet like 20 times with like 20 different actors. And to me, each actor brings out or highlights a different quality in the character. And so this is another color of the rainbow that is Hellboy.
Yeah, I was just furious through watching this, but a bunch of times the audio just cuts out. It fades to like almost nothing, that you can't hear anything, like while people are talking, and then fades back up multiple times throughout this. So that shows you how much they fucking cared when putting this together. So lame. I like the part with the effects guys, because effects guys are infamously kind of laid back, kind of quirky dudes. I mean, but even that stuff was laid in with the, like, we're doing this bigger and better.
The bodysuit for Hellboy, much different than the other films, because there's a level of realism added to this that takes you somewhat out of the comic book feeling of the other version of this character.
So I feel like whoever was behind the camera making this stuff was constantly being like, mention this is different.
Yeah.
Mention that this is artistic. This is art.
Oh yeah.
Please.
No, you know the producer standing behind the camera going, can you explain why this is different and superior to the previous versions of Hellboy?
So it's actors first, third, effects work second, third, and then the third is talking specifically about like on the set production, and this is where everything is like you start becoming very aware of how skewed everything is, because everyone feels like they're at gunpoint being told what to say and everything. So uncomfortable. And to note, no one mentions Neil Marshall's involvement in the movie, not even once, which is something you never see in these things, because usually actors are like, oh, I love so-and-so, his vision is so important to this movie, but in the last 2 minutes they mention Neil Marshall just as like kind of like throw it in there so people aren't suspicious, I guess. I don't. But this whole thing doesn't have him. We gotta have someone mention him once. Do you want me to edit it in earlier in the thing so it's not? No. It's good. End with that.
It's all right. It's fine.
And with the nice note.
It's good end note.
Yeah, that's actually interesting because it seems like this went as far as it possibly could without them going, oh, we brought in other director to reshoot 70% of the movie.
I'm surprised they didn't do that, because that's just, that's generally what just happens now.
Yeah, no, all the big studios are doing it. I guess Lionsgate ain't hip yet.
All the cool kids are doing it.
They probably can't, maybe they can't afford possible legal battles, or, can't afford, because they already, they have to pay him a certain amount because of his contract anyway. They couldn't afford to bring on another director or something. Plenty of reasons that could have happened.